with the plans, and we really want to show you some clips of the highlights of the week, starting with the Anderson male leopard. It was the first time we've seen right at each other. Welcome to the fire, and good to have you with us. Kay has asked, have we ever managed to capture a live hunt on Safari Live? And we certainly have, not as many as we would like. I've personally only got one, and I'm coming on 8 months being here. And Brent,
I've seen a pied kingfisher kill a fish.
And you got the very good footage of, was it Quarantine jumping through the air?
That is true. We saw Quarantine nearly grab a guinea fowl, and he leapt sort of 4 meters in the air and sort of swatted it to the ground. But unfortunately, he didn't hold on to it when he hit the ground, and the guinea fowl escaped. That's the closest I've come to seeing a big cat kill since I've been here.
Yeah.
Lots of birds.
So no, it hasn't been hugely successful in terms of kills, Kay, but Peter Pretorius managed to see the Birmingham boys, a coalition of 5 male lions, bring down a young buffalo calf. They were actually currently feeding on an adult female buffalo that they'd killed the night before. It was the following afternoon, and another herd of buffalo stumbled upon them. The Birmingham boys all looked at one another and thought, well, let's get another one. And full bellies, they left half their kill, ran off, caught the young calf, and then continued to feed on both. So that was captured, not the actual takedown, but Peter got there seconds after they had latched onto the young calf and managed to see them struggling to pull it down and see the rest of the herd come back and try and chase the lions. But a few of the big males, one of them who's got a really big blonde mane, stood his ground and kept the buffalo at bay.
That's a perfect example of how opportunistic predators can be. So they're sitting there with a full bellies and another buffalo, and a buffalo herd comes through, and if they see an opportunity where they can possibly get another kill with little risk, be it a lion or a leopard or a wild dog or hyena, any of the predators, they are such opportunists, they will definitely take those opportunities when given to them.
Exactly. So that's why it's worth hanging around with us on these afternoon drives when the lions may be sleeping, because at any moment something could stumble upon them and they could take that opportunity, and then we'll be in the right place at the right time. But our luck has not been huge with kills. A wild dog kill yet. No, we're banking it. It's going to all happen, and what we go through now we're going to be rewarded for in the future, so we've got lots of kills to look forward to. Another kill was a wild dog kill with, again, Peter and Hayden Pretorius. I think we're both in that sighting together, where they chased an impala into a dam, and then eventually the impala tried to come out, and they thereafter ripped it to pieces. And the only kill that I've captured live was that of the Karula female leopard, catching a young impala that she had actually stranded or orphaned by killing its mother. And it was within 12 hours of losing her own cub. She then killed an adult female impala, leaving the young lamb orphaned. And the following day we were in the sighting, and we drove around because we heard this lamb was in the area, and as we saw the lamb, it started calling for its mother. And I knew immediately that Karula would certainly be close enough to hear it, and she came in and pounced on quite an easy prey item. It was a stranded, lonely impala, but it was a kill nonetheless.
That is true.
Okay, well, lots of action has happened, and lots more will happen, so looking forward to that. But another little bit of action that we'd like to show you right now is the clip of Sindile hunting some dwarf mongooses. It's an awesome clip, and enjoy. We had been sitting with him. He had been left alone by his mother, and eventually he got up and crept up towards some sounds. We couldn't hear them, and these mongooses appeared out of nowhere, and then he leapt after them after being flattened in the grass, and right at the end we thought he got one, but when he looked up with that sad face we realized that it was unsuccessful. And then some birds came in and started alarm calling at him, and he snarled at them in disgust. So it wasn't his best moment, but it provided us with some incredible footage. And I really thought that those mongooses, they were creeping right up towards him in the grass. They had no idea he was there, even though the one stood up on its back legs. he was completely unnoticed and only a meter or two away. But what that goes to show is how difficult it is for predators to catch their prey. All of the animals here know to be on high alert, and they are extremely quick and can escape easily. Otherwise they wouldn't be alive and they wouldn't be running around here in Africa with all these predators. So good to see, though. We thought we were going to get his first kill. I think we will in the next few months. We've been seeing so much more of him in shadow.
And then I've had him try grab Franklin out of a tree just after dark, leaping right into the branches of a gory bush trying to catch a calling crested Franklin, but again unsuccessful. So I'm sure he has caught while we haven't been there. It's just got to be getting there to be at the right place at the right time.
Exactly. Well, now, Brent, from the leopard cubs to the lion cubs, different sizes, but you've been having a wonderful time with the Styx Pride and those little
I've
cubs.
spent an incredible amount of time since I've got back from leave, so over the last sort of 4 or 5 days with the Styx Pride and those cubs. And we've got a really cute clip of those cubs playing, so we're going to play it for you now. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And it's a clip of them sort of just fooling around, and one of the lion cub's favorite sort of playthings is an adult lion's tail. And we saw a bit more of that this afternoon on the sunset safari. As soon as that tail sort of switches, they literally go right onto it, and it's sort of like a ball of yarn for a kitten. But it was great, and it's been great to spend that much time with them. And they've let us get closer and closer to them, so it's been quite wonderful. I mean, today while we were parked, we were there for so long that they literally came so close that the camera couldn't see them.
Really?
They were right next to our door here, and looking down, Brian's like, "Oh, I can't see them, they're too close."
Well, I was jealous as it was, and now Brent's just rubbing it in. And I've actually also seen a bit of the clip that you've just looked at now. What awesome footage. It really is incredible to see how cute those little lions can be, and also to see how they can actually start showing their instinct of how they play. And you may have noticed in the one clip how the one cub almost went for the suffocation grip, and that wouldn't have been taught to them at this age. That's instinct. So really interesting to see these lion traits already coming through these little cubs.
It is amazing that we saw a lot of it today, and we also saw that incredible aggression and that you see during lions while they're feeding or arguing over stuff. Whoa. No. Then he fell off the thing again.
We've got a booby-trapped log.
Sorry about that.
I keep swiveling back, and I was concerned
I
he
thought I
was
was
going to
gonna
go
fall off.
flying.
But sorry, now yes. And we actually saw that real intense aggression of these little guys, and like really growling and snarling and going at each other over a stick. And in times to come, that stick's probably going to be a piece of meat. And you can already see the different personalities. There's, from what I can see, one young male and 2 little females. I might be completely wrong, but I'm just judging from the behavior and what I've seen so far. And the little male
you can see that one is kind of dominating.
And he's a bit bigger, and he sort of
playing.
He does that male lion lie over the carcass, but he tries to lie over all his mom's teats at the same time, like mine. And then the little girls are sort of under his arms trying to sneak in there. But really interesting behavior to watch.
Good. Well, I certainly look forward to spending some time with them. We've kind of had shifts. I've been spending a lot of time with Shadow and Sindile, and Brent's been spending a lot of time with the Styx Pride, but we were chatting the other day and whether to swap and take turns, and it will all naturally unfold, and we'll all get to spend time with all the different animals. You can't be in 2 places at once. I guess that's the catch.
And even sometimes you get to spend a whole day talking about drainage lines.
Exactly.
But that's the way it works out in the bush, and that's what's amazing about it. It's not prescribed. It's not. I mean, we don't have a script. The script unfolds in front of us naturally.
Good. Okay, interesting question has just come through from Pat, and Pat would like to know whether lions could actually hurt themselves when play fighting those little cubs. What do you think about that, Brent?
At this age, I don't think so. I mean, more to be sorting out dominance and stuff like that, and they're quite aggressive with each other. I don't think they can hurt each other just yet. And even if you watch adults play fight, the biggest chance they have of hurting each other is possibly if they fall in a hole and just slightly injure them. But they are quite conscious of how strong and powerful they are as they get older, and they do seem to soften those blows. They're not as serious as, for example, they're far more likely to get hurt feeding around a carcass. And a lot of the scars on a lion's face is not from fighting lions they don't know. It's actually just from dinner. They seem to forget all their manners.
Okay, well, we've just got a question through from Sandy talking about feeding and manners. And good evening, Sandy. Welcome to the fire. Sandy has asked or noticed that she doesn't think the cubs have been nursing as much as they have on the past few drives. I haven't been there, so have you noticed? Are you noticing any changes in nursing?
Not really. I think so. Obviously, they weren't there when we arrived this morning, and during the day, mother's gone off and fetched them and brought them back, and probably a lot earlier than when we arrived. So there's a very strong chance they did the majority of the nursing before we arrived during the heat of the day, and they had really fat little round bellies, so they looked like they had a good drink, and they were just more interested in playing when we got there. They did nurse a little bit on and off, but you could see that from the mother's reaction. Obviously she's quite hungry as well, so she does need to eat, but also from the suckle mouths around the teats that she'd been fed on extensively before that, and she was quite irritated when they did try feed, and she kept trying to move away from them. So it probably means she gave them a really nice long feeding session before we arrived.
And I guess, I mean, a lot on top of that, Sandy, is we only, with these animals, if we're lucky, for the most 6 hours a day. There's another 18 hours where we are not around, and obviously a lot can go on then, which we can't chat about because we don't know what actually happened. And they could well have been feeding then. It's not going to be a set routine like us humans live. Animals' lives does not have routine, and they bend and flow and weave depending on how hungry they are or how much food the mother's got in her belly. So there will often be changes in things like nursing times. Okay, well, we're getting on to another clip now on cubs. It's a cub that is of a more similar size to the lions than Sandile, and it's of some great footage captured of the new hyena cub. And I've only seen it once so far. Brent's also seen it once. James has spent a bit of time with it. But enjoy this clip and look at how cute this little black ball is. Now, the great thing about this hyena cub is it came as a little bit of a surprise. You had seen a highly pregnant female, but we had no idea where she was going to den or when, or, you know. And all of a sudden, James was there one fine afternoon, I think it was, and all of a sudden this little black head popped out. So it came as a huge surprise. James took a guess at putting it at around 10 days of age. Brent and myself have also been chatting. We're not too sure. It's very difficult to tell, but isn't it such a cute little fur ball? And interesting to see how much it will change from what you see now to when it becomes older.
In a few short months, they'll lose all that sort of black fur, and the spots will start coming out. And as it gets a little bit older and braver, we'll start to see possibly where its social ranking is as it interacts with other adults. At the moment, the mother's quite protective, and she sort of blocks the den while I've been there, and she keeps the cub quite close to her. And some of those sub-adults that are now about 6-7 months old, and they try to get there, she chase them off and be quite aggressive towards them. And I think the sub-adults are not going in to hurt the little one. I think they're just curious, and their play might be a little bit rough for a hyena that young.
Exactly. Well, talking about hyenas and playing and hierarchy that Brent touched on, we've just got a question through from Cindy. Good evening, and thanks for sending your question through. Cindy would like to know if a hyena clan has got an alpha male, alpha female setup where only the alpha male and female will usually breed. And yes, that is the rough rule that you can go by. There will be a dominant pair, but there will also be subordinates that can also mate. So it's not strictly the alpha pair that will mate. They will probably be the first in line and possibly do it when it suits them. And if times are plentiful, you will find other clan members also being allowed the opportunity to mate.
So it's quite interesting. So unlike wild dogs, which is a monogamous alpha pair, and then the rest of the pack look after the babies that are born to that alpha pair, hyenas will have an alpha female and an alpha male. The alpha male is still lower than the lowest ranking female in the clan, which makes hyena very interesting and the only truly matriarchal society out here in the bush. But the other beta and gamma females and even delta females will breed, as Scott says, in times of plenty. So you can have 3 or 4 females with cubs in one den at one time. So a slightly different system to the wild dogs.
And that's exactly what we're seeing here. We've got 3 different sets of cubs. One who's the oldest is probably a month older, then another 2, and then now the new addition. So it's definitely 3 different generations, all within the same clan. So they're obviously doing well, and I'm glad that they are, because they're such wonderful animals to have around, and they perform a very, very important role out here. They often get painted in a bad light, but they're awesome animals, and they certainly do fit in to this ecosystem, and without them, it wouldn't be the same out here.
A really, really important cog in the sort of whole ecology of the Lowveld.
Okay, Donna and Sandy would like to know if we would be playing any instruments, and thankfully we will not, because that would not be enjoyable for you.
No, you would run away and never watch again.
Yeah, we are not musicians unless we are in the shower, or unless we...
Not even in the shower.
Yeah, not even in the shower, or unless we're in a very strange mood, you could say. And we've just got one more clip to play, and then Brent's going to touch on a little folklore story for you, and then that'll be that. We've got to rush back to the Manuleti now. There is a curfew there where we cannot travel too late, so we're going to keep it a little bit shorter than normal. And this is a clip that Brent saw of some incredible wildebeest interaction. So enjoy the clip, and Brent's going to tell you a little bit more about that sighting.
So right in the beginning, you see that it's actually quite an aggressive, it seems like quite an aggressive sighting. And that one poor wildebeest gets hooked under her armpit, and she let out a boo, which obviously meant it was quite painful. But wildebeest are prone to these sort of silly 10 minutes or 15 minutes of running around and behaving like complete idiots and chasing each other up and down. I think they just got a little bit overworked up in this situation and got a little bit overexcited, and that's what happened when that one got sort of horned accidentally in the armpit. But you saw how all 3 or 4 were trying to fight with each other at the same time, and I mean they ran round and round the vehicle. I mean, Brian and I were sitting there, we were like, oh, which ones did we look at? Oh, that one's doing that. And
Yeah, that must have been a
really
tricky one to
amazing.
film.
And definitely the best wildebeest sighting I've seen since I've been at WildEarth. So really, really incredible. And it sort of got me thinking that we don't have James on the guitar, so we'd have to do some form of entertainment. So I'm actually going to ask Scott to put horns on his head and run around the fire. No, I'm joking.
If I get off the log, you're going to go flying.
Exactly.
So
just going to counterbalance each other.
It's a balancing issue.
So we're going to cut it a little bit short, but it's an old Zulu folklore about why a wildebeest looks so funny. And they are very funny looking animals. So everything looks a bit mismatched. They've got that sort of sloping back, and it's sort of black, but with sort of stripes, and it's just that different coloration. But the face is what does it all. So wildebeest, because of these silly 5 minutes like we witnessed, are often called, or my dad specifically calls them, the clowns. And so while the creator was handing out horns and teeth and hooves and all the different body parts to make up an animal, because all the animals were sort of this basic white blank canvas in the beginning, the wildebeest were all running around playing, chasing each other in circles, having a jolly old time. And so by the time they realized that it was the day to collect all your body parts, they basically got all the spare parts that were left. So, and the story goes that the wildebeest was like, but, and that's sort of but. Why can't I have horns like the kudu? Created because you were too late. If you had been at the front of the queue like the kudu, you could have had a nice set of horns. And the wildebeest sort of continues to irritate the creator till he basically doesn't even take much attention, and he basically puts things on the wrong way around and just sort of sticks the wildebeest together and sort of goes, "Get out of here now, I've had enough of you." So that's a sort of the old Zulu traditional folklore about why the wildebeest looks so funny, and it is because he was running around chasing and having a jolly good time and forgot to get in the queue to collect body parts.
That is a great story, and they are wonderful animals to have around, because if you are lucky, you do get to capture these bizarre moments when they are really fooling about. And it's interesting behavior, that, because it seemed like they were almost bullying that one for a moment. Once they realized there was a weakness, they kind of took advantage of it, and why, you would wonder.
It was straight enough, they did it to like 4 different.
Okay.
It wasn't only one individual that took the brunt of that. So they'd run that one, and like, oh no, let's chase this one, and then oh no, let's chase this one. And the funniest was the little guys who just sort of round the peripheries. Like, oh no, I want to be involved, but that looks a bit scary. Oh, I want to be involved, but that looks a bit scary.
Well, It is a very wonderful thing being out here, because a lot of what goes on we won't know the exact answer to, and we can speculate and sit around the fire and chat about things and try and work it out. What was that animal thinking? Why did they do that? But a lot will only ever be our own theories and opinions. And isn't that wonderful that they are having fun, it appears, and living their own life, with us humans wondering what on earth they're doing.
And we write the books, the animals don't have to read them.
Exactly. Well, folks, it's been a wonderful week with all of you, and specifically today we've had some great sightings to go back to the very near future. This evening with yourself and those lion cubs, we got lucky with those elephants and the sunsets, and then those two sightings converged with you and Brent. So it really was a fairy tale end to the week. And from myself, Scott, a very big thank you for following, and thanks to Tara, who directed the show today, and Nikki, who was lending her hand, as well as Jandre, who was filming from around the fire, and Brian's on the other camera off in the distance. It's been so much fun.
Wonderful. And we can't forget Eugene and his broom swatting gremlins all week.
Yes, thank you, Eugene, for chasing away the aliens.
Thanks very much, guys, and can only get better week coming forward.
Yes, we are going to get a kill this week. Stay tuned.
Oh, you put your mouth in it now.